I hate Manny. There's an entire subreddit called r/fuckmanny for a reason. He's a spoiled brat that does anything and gets anything he wants. And the thing is, he knows it. A psychopath is defined by Webster as a person having an egocentric personality marked by a lack of remorse for one's actions and absence of empathy for others. Numerous times during the Wimpy Kid series do we see Manny committing absolutely egregious acts against his family with absolutely zero remorse. You may think I'm exaggerating, but far from it. In Cabin Fever, the Heffley family is stuck in a blizzard with no food in the house. For days, the family is only surviving by the body heat of each other and eating condiments. It's not more until a day later that Greg finds Manny in his room with a heater and stacks of food. Yeah, turns out Manny went into the circuit breaker and turned off all of the power for everyone but himself, putting his family in legitimate danger. All because no one taught him how to tie his shoes. And you may be thinking, well, Manny's just a kid, he didn't mean to do anything wrong. Which is a valid argument, until you realize that this 3-year-old somehow knows what a circuit breaker is and how to use it. He shouldn't even be able to reach it without some sort of stepping stool. It had to be intentional. And then when he's caught, he starts bawling about how nobody taught him how to tie his shoes, putting the blame on others so that he wouldn't get in trouble. What's the mother supposed to do? You're not normally supposed to get furious at a 3-year-old for something like this. After all, he's only 3. Keyword, however, normally. Manny isn't normal. It's known that psychopaths fake emotion in order to manipulate people. In this instance, Manny's attempting to guilt trip his family through sadness in order to keep himself innocent. He wasn't crying because he felt bad for putting his family in mortal danger. No, he was crying so that his mother would feel bad and he would be free from punishment. Well, that's just one example, right? Wrong. When Greg is about to start being an epic gamer, he finds that his console doesn't work. He goes to see what's wrong and finds that Manny stuffed a cookie into the console. And what's his excuse? I'm only 3. Again, you may think, well, yeah, he is only 3, so what? But it's the fact that he's intelligent enough to use his age as a leverage against Greg. Most of the time when a kid messes up, an adult will make an excuse for the kid. He's only 3, just let it go. But it isn't often that the child itself uses this excuse themselves. And he didn't do this accidentally. It says he always uses this excuse when he breaks my stuff. Meaning he's purposely broken Greg's stuff just for the fun of it, and knows he can always get away with it. Children start feeling empathy anywhere from a few months old to 2 years old. Yet, Manny doesn't seem remorseful in any way at all. The mother makes Manny apologize to Greg, and as an apology, Manny makes him this tinfoil ball of death. So he's smart enough to use a circuit breaker and manipulate others with fake emotions, yet he makes this dangerous tinfoil ball with toothpicks in it? Eventually, Raleigh ends up sitting on it and hurting himself, which makes you think if Manny planned for something like this to happen. Even in his apology, he's still looking for ways to torment people. He has no empathy. He does whatever he wants, and he gets away with it too. Here's another example. When Greg was at school, Manny went onto Greg's NetCritters account and sold all of his items, and then changed his password so that he couldn't go back in. It's like those dudes with girlfriends who delete their MyCareer account, but at least they feel bad about it afterwards. Selling all of the items and then changing the password isn't something you just do when you're messing around with a computer. He purposely did this. It's the fact that not only is this 3-year-old intelligent enough to do all this, but he doesn't even feel remorse for it. He just continues his day like nothing ever happened. The lack of morality is astounding. Last in-depth example. Greg is hiding candy for himself, but when Manny finds it, he eats it at his pleasure. Greg only allowing Manny to do this because if he doesn't, Manny would snitch on him. He's manipulating Greg to basically let him have all the free candy he wants, and if he doesn't let him, Greg gets in trouble. Since he knows that he could think of some excuse to get himself out of trouble, he feels no remorse for basically keeping his brother hostage so that he can benefit. When you research traits of a psychopath, you usually find terms such as frequently faking emotions, being rather intelligent, having a lack of morality, and being very manipulative. Pretty much every example I've mentioned in this video falls under one of these psychopathic attributes in some way. If the evidence I've provided hasn't convinced you already, then here's more examples. I won't be going over them in depth, but the fact that there's even more is scary. He made everyone take off the lights of the Christmas tree after they already finished because he wanted to be the first one. He drew on Greg's door just to mess with him because he knew he wouldn't receive punishment. He kept memories of Greg breaking a window and then snitched on him later when he learned how to talk. He twisted the no swearing rule so that he makes money from it. And lastly, he changed the TV settings so that only his shows played, and he wouldn't tell anyone the password. And if none of that convinces you, then here's my final go. Look at his drawings and tell me this isn't the drawings of a psychopath. Look at it. Also, look at the way he puts mustard on a hot dog. I hate this kid. No human does this. Unless he wasn't human at all. Think about it. His extreme intelligence, his manipulation. Manny is actually a crocodile disguised as a human boy. Look at the entire family. Now, look at Manny. Why does he have a snout? And now you may be thinking, why is Crocodile Boy living with them? Well, isn't it obvious? It's to kill the Heffley family. The Blizzard incident. The Ball of Death. Open your eyes, America. The truth is right there. Thank you. Oh yeah, just as a side note, thought this was funny, Manny is involved in sexual harassment as well. Look, here he violates this poor man's bum, and here he shows Riley his hiney, and every time Riley comes over, he pressures Riley not to say anything. Case closed.